When I was in film school back in 2003 to 2005, I took a really interesting course called visual audio. And the entire course was just basically a study of how much of movies and film, how much of the story is portrayed via audio. Um, and you study a lot of like silent films, and then you take a lot of like visuals away and look at what's being made. There's the whole story about in RoboCop, when the robot goes AWOL and gets, turns against the people. Part of the audio buried in there is the sound of like a pig, uh, that you hear subconsciously, but not, not outright. Um, and so one of the projects in that class was to tell a story using audio, no dialogue. So we were given the equipment to basically record whatever we wanted to. And at the time, it wasn't like any of us had like recording studios to go to, or we were basically just kind of stuck with whatever we had access to. And when you try to think about telling a story that way, especially as we move further into the future, your brain doesn't work that way, and it's harder. Like back in the day, like radio plays and like doing things with just sound. There was a lot more creativity that just came naturally. This actually takes a lot of work. Even now, thinking about it, like what I would do differently. But what was really fascinating is that when it was a class of like 20 to 30 people, and when we got to present all of our audio, the idea was it plays for the class, and the class has to kind of determine what the story is. It was really tricky, but there was one really funny anecdote, and that was the majority of the time people resorted to going to the bathroom, specifically men, I think. Um, so there's the sound of the toilet, there's the sound of peeing, and the sound of the flushing toilet. But the teacher brought up a really excellent point, and it was so true. The majority of the time that was used in the story, there was almost never the sound of a sink and hands being washed afterwards. And as we played through each of the students' clips, it was true, and it was true, and it was true. And it was even true in mine, and it was like super embarrassing because I'm a pretty big washer of hands, but nowadays, every time I use the restroom, or every time I hear, like I'm in a public restroom and I hear somebody leave without washing their hands, I think of that class, and I think about the like audio cues of life and the things we go through. And I just did it this morning. Like just this morning when I was washing my hands, I was like, oh yeah, visual audio. Um, so yeah, that's it. It is Friday, February 26th. I will see you tomorrow.